We're going to finish this off now with dry pencil and dry brush techniques. Let's start with some dry brush work. So a dry brush technique is where you have very little paint on the brush and it's very dry, very little water. Okay, so this is the kind of effect that we want to achieve. So the colours are very raw with very little water on the paintbrush. So we can employ this technique now into the leaves. Okay, it's quite dark, so this can be suggestive of the backdrop of those leaves. You may want to make notes here of all the different techniques that you're using, how you did it, which kind of brush. Perhaps create patterns with a particular brush shape. The square brush is the flat brush is quite good to create these thick and thin. So back to the very dry brush. So make sure that you still leave space for all the pencil marks that you've put in before, so it works nicely together and you really see those patterns, because this is a pattern reference point for you, so that you can go back and look at all the different textures that you can make and how you make them. Okay, let's do some work on this bark of this tree. Shadow sections here, again quite dry brush technique. Let's try and give it some shadow on the one side. Just using now the very edge of that bush. Again, make some notes on how you're creating these things. That's feeling like a bark sort of texture, so we'll use that in here. At the end we'll use our dry pencils to define the whole shape of everything. Okay, so again quite pale in the background here. This edge, it's coming towards you, it's getting larger, so the other marks now we're making here just coming a little stronger, larger. And this could be a railing around the edge. Okay, let's think about maybe a shadow or something from the tree, which we can put on as a wash over area here. And we should hopefully be able to see our textures through. I'm starting to see how texture can work. It's quite abstract and illustrative, but this can also be used in a realistic approach as well. Okay, so Again, more reference patterns here, notes on how we create and what they represent. You can put the notes in afterwards. It's all good sketchbook material, reference points. Okay, let's get a little bit more of this grass now, a little bit stronger in the foreground. Let's use some of our a finer brush now to try and get that sort of detail just in the front. So strong enough green to make this stand out. And as far as the reference image that we're following is concerned, I feel that this sort of mark making is what he was using here. Okay, large in the front and then getting a little bit smaller in the back, and it's all starting to blend with those nice marks that we made earlier with the pencil. So you can see now how the colours seem very odd and different to each other when we first went in, but they're quite complementary and they're all starting to work together. And if you feel that something stands alone and doesn't quite blend, borrow a colour into that just to soften it out a little bit. So now from then on, we're just tidying it up now. So let it dry a little bit again, and then we'll add some pencil. Okay, so just finish this off now with some dry pencil marks. Just add a little bit of clarity in certain areas that you feel are lacking. Again, making notes of how you're representing certain things for your reference book. Keep working away until you're happy with that. And now we've had this trial, then you can plan something for next time that combines some of these textures and techniques.